Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Tell you, drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip.
But you still haven't answered the question. I'm going to ask you this really directly, okay? On a month-to-month basis, how much money are you spending on WWE mobile games and or any other mobile games on a month-to-month basis? Are you spending on iTunes or any sort of mobile device?
Okay.
Just a straight dollar amount. Whatever it is, it's okay.
Okay. This month, I have spent probably $10 to $15. That is an honest answer. And by the way, it wasn't on WWE Champions.
Okay. What was it on? Just curious.
Well, here we go. Because if I tell you, they're just going to blow it up. They're going to.
No, okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it then. Don't worry about it. If
they
you say
already said it's a new game. It's a Street Fighter game.
Ah, okay. The new Street Fighter one. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it good?
It's all right. It's one of those. You build a team of fighters. They fight against each other. It's not. You don't even actively play.
It's like tap RPG. Crap.
Similar, yes.
Okay.
And that was just for experimental purposes. I'm not playing it a lot. I'm playing every once in a while. I spend I'll spend $1 and get a bunch of stuff, so I spend a couple dollars here or there. And of course, I will get destroyed for saying that I spent $15 on it, I will. I'm going to get destroyed for it.
So let me kind of move this along. We've been going for a long time, and thank you again, Phil, for your time. Appreciate it. We're approaching 4 hours. I got a few things that I want to make sure we hit on before we go.
Sure.
Before we, can move forward. So, number one, Keem is here, and Keem has said that he will be respectful, and he would love to talk. I think this is a tremendous opportunity to bury whatever hatchet or whatever it is you guys have and mend a fence. I think this is a tremendous opportunity. Are you open to that?
If you want him on the show to talk, I'm not doing business with this man under any circumstances.
Yeah, you established that. That's fine. That's not what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to broker a business deal or anything like that. But are you open to talking with him now?
I'm curious what he even wants to talk about. I'm not being on his stuff. I refuse.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm going to bring him on. Right?
Wait. So you're okay with him coming on to talk?
As long as he's not going to sit here and insult me or you guys have already asked me so many questions. I don't want him interrogating me too. It's your show, not his.
That's not.
Right.
I mean, Keem, he's watching obviously, so it's like that's not the case. We're the interviewers. He just said he agrees.
Yeah, he agrees. So look, we're going to bring him on, and like I said, I think this is not a tremendous opportunity for friction. This is an opportunity to build a bridge. So let's do this real quick. Keemstar, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And Phil, thank you for letting me on to talk to you directly. I do mean what I said here in the chat, that I will be respectful. I'm not here to interrogate you, but I desperately want to represent my point of view in this situation between me and you. Because what I've heard listening to this podcast or this interview or whatever you want to call it, is you describing problems that you have in your life, paying bills, being harassed by, your detractors or whatever. And I actively went out of my way to solve major problems in your life. And me and you are not friends. In fact, before I put together this business opportunity for you, me and you were fighting back and forth. It started with you on your podcast out of nowhere, reacting to me retiring when I turned 40. And you said, well, that guy's evil and, all these horrible stuff and blood money, whatever you said about me, because you don't like my show Drama Alert. And many of your detractors picked up on right away that the reason why you don't like my show and you don't support me is because we covered the fapping situation in 2016.
Oh, that's completely untrue. Dude, you covered it fairly.
Go ahead, respond, Phil.
You covered it fairly. You didn't even really harp on it. One of your guys contacted me behind the scenes, said, do you have anything else to add? Do you want to be on the show? I was like, no, you covered it fairly. I don't think you were unfair at all. That's not the case.
Thank you, because I don't think I was unfair either.
No, not at all. Who told you that? That's bullshit. That's the detractors making shit up. I didn't know.
Everybody jumped to that conclusion why you had such a hateful response to me retiring was because of that. Because we have no previous history, Phil.
Correct.
I've never talked to you. The only interactions I've ever had with you is just covering this one story about you.
Mm-hmm.
And just, this is a great example of why I wanted to bring you on, because there's clearly a miscommunication somewhere along the lines, right? Clearly. So, Phil thought Keemstar did this. Keemstar thought Phil did this. All right. So we're in a better place, which is great.
So to move on from that, I see a clip and it's on Phil's stream. He's reacting to my retirement and he's saying I'm this horrible, evil person, and he doesn't support me. And I responded.
Hold on, Keem, is that true, Phil?
I don't know. I'm sure I criticized him. I don't know specifically what he's talking about yet.
Okay, continue.
I don't know exactly what was said. I'm going off of memory, but it was something along those lines. The clip gets sent to me by multiple people. Okay. So I respond to Phil because the only thing I know about Phil is him being a lol cow, right? Him on stream begging for money to pay rent and stuff like that. That's all I know about him. So I responded to him on Twitter, which I thought was pretty clever, in gaming terms. And I explained to him that we are roughly the same age. We've been doing YouTube for 15 years each. We started at the same time. And I'm retiring now and I don't ever have to work again. So I have completed this video game of YouTube. And I said to Phil, you're still on level 1. All right. You're still on level 1 and you're restarting, level 1 over and over again, like a video game, and you're getting nowhere. You're still at the point where you're begging people on stream to pay your bills and whatnot. And I thought that was a good response, right? Even though I am talking trash and, we got a little drama going on for Twitter and whatnot, I thought that I was actually giving you good advice. And,
I was gonna say that
is that advice or is that more because in
that
text
felt
form,
like a backhanded smack, right? With internet Twitter battles,
100%, 100%. But it's also advice, right? My point in those Twitter videos was that Phil needs to do something different. Imagine you're playing a video game, you're on level 1, and you try the same technique over and over again. All right. And you're dying and you have to restart the level over. You're never going to beat level 1. And that's the situation that Phil has been in. Right.
And Phil, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like there's any truth to that? Or do you feel like that Keemstar is out of his way to kind of make you look a fool?
Well, first of all, the best way to give life advice is to, say it in an insulting way, for sure. I mean, makes everyone very receptive to it, correct?
Right.
Sure
Well, fair point, but
slap it.
Let him finish, King.
On Twitter. Is there some truth to it? Yes. Okay. But here's the thing: if you have a criticism of me, then criticize me fairly in a way where maybe I have a chance to have a conversation. Instead, you just go to your platform and you say something nasty about me on there. I'm a tiny little guy. Okay. When I say something on my stream, who hears it? A couple hundred people. Yes, my detractors then echo it. They extrapolate it all over the internet. Boom, it's amplified, correct? But I'm the little guy. You are a big guy, Keem. You're huge. You have a giant reach on the internet. Do you not understand that the stuff that you say and do has repercussions for everyone around you? You seem to be someone that you're not self-aware. You don't understand that when you say something like that, now I have to live with that shit. For months on end, I get, you're on level 1. Phil, level 1. You've been for 15 years. You're just on level 1. Do you think I need that? I already have enough shit in my life going on. So much stuff. I don't need Mr. Big Time punching down on me, which is what you do. That's why people don't like you, man.
I didn't
how do you not understand that?
I didn't see it that way. I saw a clip of you talking all kinds of shit on me, unprovoked, and I just responded, talking shit back, but also giving you advice. That's the way I saw it. Anyhow, after that incident took place, months went by, and this bothered me because I saw the solution the entire time, that Phil needed to do something different. All right. I am a person that recognizes entertainment. I really, really get it. You got to understand, Phil, you have haters, you have detractors. So do I, but I have more. I have more than Wings of Redemption, DSP, and Boogie combined. I have way more haters, but I'm still successful. And I still have new business opportunities, and I'm still making money. I was supposed to retire a year ago, and I'm still doing new stuff and being successful in this platform because I understand this business very, very well. And even though you have that hate, you know, they are viewers, they are your customers. The detractors are your customers. The haters are your customers. And they're more loyal than the people that give you money, that donate on your stream. The people that hate you
echoing
are way
that you're
more
talking
loyal.
about. That's like, you can't pay for that shit.
I mean, look at how many people are here. 2,500 people are here. It's just, it's, you have a legitimate fan base. Those haters, those people that don't like you are your fans. And I wanted to solve this issue for not just you, but Wings and Boogie. I looked at all of you guys, you're lolcows, right? You have more haters than like supporters, right? But really, they're all fans. They are all fans. They're all obsessed with you and watching your content nonstop. The solution really is to get the three of you to do a podcast, all right? Those haters are going to watch. They're going to absolutely love that these three guys have come together to make content. Now, between the three of you, you guys don't have the business sense to like really figure this out and make this thing actually happen. But I do. All right. And you guys don't even understand how valuable you are as individuals, as entertainers, because you look at the numbers and you're looking at everything and like, oh, well, I've fallen off. And, you know, that's the mindset that you have. Right. But I have a different mindset for each and one of you, that you guys are amazing entertainers, but just not in the way that you want to be, right? You're lolcows, but there's so much value there. By putting the three of you together, and, you know, each one of you would own 25% of this podcast, all right? We never got to have this conversation, so I do want to have it now, even though I know you're not going to do it, all right? I would also own 25%. I would do the business aspect of it. I've had many success selling podcasts to exclusive deals with Spotify and other companies, multi-million-dollar deals. All right. I wanted to put the three of you together for this show. I would do the business side of the things. And I knew that all three of you would be in a situation where you didn't really trust me, or you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. And you'd have a lot of doubts. So I was just going to take my own money and take $150,000, give you each, just to start off before we even filmed an episode, 50 grand up front to let you know that I was serious and I believe in this concept and this idea. Now, I call Boogie first. I instantly get on the phone with Boogie. All right. He loves the idea. He understands it. He gets it. He reaches out to Wings. Wings is down. And now it's time to talk to DSP. Boogie, the way I understand it, called you, contacted you, and told you what was going on, right?
He DM'd me on Twitter, and we had a brief conversation back and forth in DMs.
And he told you that I wanted to do a podcast with the three of you, right?
Yes, I had no idea that's what you were trying to contact me about, because we never talked. But he said that there was this idea for a podcast, correct?
So you did know.
So Boogie told you or didn't tell you?
Boogie told me that he and Wings had spoken to Keem, and that Keem wanted to do a podcast with all three of us. No money or anything was discussed. He just said, you know, he wants to do a podcast with all three of us. I didn't know that's what Keem was trying to reach out to me. I said maybe that's what it was. I didn't know because I never spoke with him.
Phil, hearing this and hearing the business opportunity that was laid, I don't even know if it's still there or not, but what are your thoughts right now, given what Keem has said to you?
Thoughts? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah,
what
just
feeling?
as he's laid this out, like lay out your feelings based on what Keemstar has laid out for you.
I have absolutely no problem doing anything with Boogie or Wings. In fact, you know, I had the conversation with Boogie back and forth a little bit more later in the year. Would he be interested in maybe doing a podcast with me, or me being on his show, or whatever, you know, whatever it may be. These guys, you know, I did a react about Wings last year, about his documentary. You know, that me doing a collab with them, just doing a fun podcast, is not out of the question for the future.
But your issue is with Keemstar and his business principles.
Correct.
Okay. So understand. So even if there's an opportunity for you to remove yourself from quote unquote level one and potentially have an opportunity further down the line to potentially sell the podcast to something and put 50 grand in your pocket initially, that's a 100% no go for you.
Oh man, see, I didn't know you put me on the spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what we
Because
do. That's an
this is a-
interview. Right?
This is a discussion that cannot be just made by me. It has to be made by my wife. You know, we have to talk about it because this was the discussion we had. That, you know, sorry, Keem. Can I criticize you fairly if I'm reasonable and don't, you know, not under the belt? Can I be honest about you?
Sure, you can say whatever you want about me,
Sure.
but I just want to represent how I feel about the situation. I'm not done, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Keem, you are someone who, when you look at your history on the internet, it's very interesting. And I'm impressed with what you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched a documentary about you last year. You started off trolling people in Halo. I mean, holy shit. And you turned that into an empire of money on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's so admirable. And if anything, one of the things you absolutely need to be praised for is your determination. You were shut down time after time. False copyright strikes, real takedown requests, all kinds of shit. People wanted you off the net, right? You're still there. You never gave up. Damn, that's a success story. That's
Phil, it sounds familiar, dude.
Yeah.
I guess.
It literally sounds like you.
I don't
It's
really
true.
think about it like that.
We just heard your story, and it is. Craig's absolutely right.
Okay. Now, at the end of the day, all right, when you look at what Keem has done and what I have done, I'll probably be forgotten. I'll just be a fart in the wind, right? I got 100,000 videos on the internet. No one's going to remember Darkside Phil besides the guy who jerked off on stream. And, you know, probably this WWE Champions thing will go away eventually, just like everything else. Who cares? But Keem, you know, has a big body of work. He's known. But when you look at how Keem made his money, okay? Again, I'm going off documentaries and things I've seen. I mean, Keem, you have to openly admit that there were a lot of things that you've done that you probably have no issue with whatsoever. You always feel from your perspective, because there's always two perspectives on everything, right?
Holy shit, Phil! I gotta say, this is fucking rich coming from you right now, though.
Yeah,
you're getting your information from the detractors that Keem has, and that's where you're basing this on. When this whole episode, you have been talking about how much shit your detractors have made other people think about you. Like, do you hear yourself right now?
Indeed, I do. That's the nature of the beast. That's how YouTube works, man. That's how all this works, right?
Fuck, man.
You're right. So, from what I've heard and seen about Keem, you know, I call them a misery broker. All right, Keem, on a day when you have a good day, it's because someone else is having a bad day. Someone else has drama going on. Someone else has horrible things happening in their life. It's your good day, man. It's time for you to blow that up, and then you interject like a shoe wedge. Get into that life. Get into that drama, right? You got to be a part of it. And now get them on your show so that you can pull this out to be not just a one-time thing, but now it's going to be pulled on for weeks and weeks. If there's something,
Phil, do you know the internet at all? Do you know the internet at all?
Yes, I do.
Do you see who's successful on the internet? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I would probably be more successful if I talk shit on people, but like I don't. And, you know, I do what I can because that's just where I'm at, you know? So it's like, you can't be upset when people use the algorithms for their advantage, which Keem seems to have figured out.
You're right. And at one point I was a really stupid, jealous guy. Man, I feel like I'm putting out content that's not harmful to anyone. I'm just doing gameplay. I'm dicking around on the internet here with my viewers. And this guy gets over and he's doing this drama content. People are saying it's hurtful, you know. You're right. At the same time, everyone has what's called a moral compass, correct? And, you know, I've been talking about this on my streams recently. I was raised a Roman Catholic, all right? I'm not religious anymore, by the way. So this is not like an excuse, but I grew up with certain morals, all right, and values. And to me, if the only way that I can get over on the internet or just get over in life is by stepping on other people, I'm not going to step on those people. I would rather be.
I don't think that's what Keem's doing when he's making videos. You know, I see, D-Day Cobra. Shout out to him. I saw him in chat earlier. You know, and tweeted us out. Thank you, buddy. He talks shit on anyone. Like he'll freaking, you know, he monetized the haters better than anyone I know.
Right.
And
Well,
I've talked to him personally off air, and he's a fucking great guy, and like has a good moral compass to me. I don't think talking shit about people on the internet somehow changes who you are, right? As your moral compass. I mean, you said moral compass, and it's like, come on, dude. Like,
can I ask Phil a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Phil, listen. All right, if me running Dramaler is like taking advantage of people's misery, right? Because the way I understand it, for how you're explaining it, is like a YouTuber will get canceled, and then I cover the story on my platform, or you had the fappening, right? And I covered the story on my platform, that I'm making money off of other people's downfalls, right? That's the way you see it.
Yes.
Well, there's people on YouTube that run documentaries on important things that happen on the internet. They're also in the same situation, correct?
What do you mean by that?
They're
What kind of
making money.
documentaries?
They're making money on a newsworthy story on the
So you're
internet.
like factual reporting of things that are happening, like a news network. Like, what do you mean?
Of course. And then I inject my opinion on these stories as well. But there are YouTubers, right? They're commentators, and then there's commentators that do like documentary style stuff that cover drama on the internet. You're saying that every single one of them is accepting blood money because they're voicing their opinions on what's going on.
Well, simply voicing your opinion is one thing, Keem, but let's take a look at your history here. There's been documented cases where you've actually staged stuff and extrapolated drama in situations where it didn't really exist. There's evidence of this. People have admitted
Explain
to it.
that. Explain
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Tell me more. I'm not aware of these.
The documentary I watched last year, about June the King made this one. And I guess there was a situation with a YouTuber, and I forget if he was a Minecraft YouTuber or another YouTuber. And, originally he appeared supposedly as an upfront, honest guest on Keemstar's show covering this drama. I think it was allegations that he had been with underage girls or something like that. Okay. Coming to find out later on, the whole, or at least part of it, was orchestrated between the two behind the scenes. Like, I guess he wanted to get back at someone, his ex or his current girlfriend, and Keem participated in that setup situation.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That doesn't even sound legit whatsoever. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have the right to deny it. That's fine.
But,
you know what? It's out there. Just so you know, shit's out there, man.
But I just want to say, like, you participated in supporting a YouTuber, all right, that covered a story on my misery, right? If I supposedly did something wrong, you watched and supported another YouTuber doing exactly what Dramaler does.
It's a good point.
Well, and on top of that, and just to kind of reiterate this, like, once again, Phil, you're telling Keemstar that he has the right to deny that because he's saying it didn't happen, even though you're saying there's a mountain of proof in this documentary, right? The same thing is being said to you right now about your WWE legends and everything like that, and you have the right to deny it too, even though there's a mountain of evidence through documentaries online.
Correct. But the difference, Keem, to respond to your point, sorry, there's a lot of points that just came up. The documentary is not just negative stuff about you. Okay, you understand? The documentary is actually covering your entire history. I've learned a lot of things about you that I find very admirable and very positive by watching that. It really did cover factually your rise and all the stuff that's happened and some of the
How do you know that? No, factually. How do you know it's factual? I'm just curious. It's on the internet, so it must be true.
I know. Phil, real quick. I mean, I see documentaries on DSP, but you on the show said half of the stuff's not even true. So I'm confused. Is the internet 100% trustworthy or not? Because when it's about me, it's all facts. When it's about you, it's all lies. I'm confused.
It's not all facts and it's not all lies. It's always somewhere in between, right? We all know that. We're not stupid. We're not born yesterday. When you watch that documentary, you gotta kind of suspend your disbelief. Say, hey, okay, believe it or don't. Right? Make your own judgments based.
So
on
you
what
chose to believe this one when it came to Keem.
In a couple of particular cases, I'm not saying that one documentary is the only thing I've ever heard about Keem. There's been lots of people who've.
That's what you're referencing a lot so far. So that's what I'm going on.
Can we come to the conclusion that me and you both have a bad reputation? We're controversial figures, but one of us is wildly more successful?
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't even say I'm successful at all. So
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Keemstar, continue with what you were saying. Okay, I think we've established this. Keemstar, continue with what you were talking about leading up to this. You reached out to Boogie, Wings, and DSP. 50 grand on the table to start the podcast. Continue.
So knowing how to help all three of them, all right, and then also creating a business opportunity for myself, right? It is all these things combined. And not only just helping DSP, Wings, and Boogie and myself, because this is a brilliant idea, but it's also helping every single person that's in this chat right now. It's also helping every single one of your haters, every single one of your guys' actual supporters. Everybody wants this content. This is a win. This is a golden opportunity. So knowing this and wanting to reach out to help you, I found you to be so incredibly difficult to work with. Boogie already contacted you and told you that this was about a podcast. I publicly tweeted, reach out to me, $50,000, and you ignored me. Then we finally start talking in DMs, and your response is, well, email me because I want to set up a call. We're already talking in DMs on Twitter. Why can't we just jump on a call and talk right away? We're already communicating. You tell me to go email you. That is so weird from my perspective. If I reach out to the biggest YouTuber on the platform, Mr. Beast, and I text him, hey, we got to get on the phone. I got to talk to you about something. I'm going to talk to him within 12 hours. And this is a wildly more busy guy than you, Phil. All right. And that's the biggest YouTuber on the platform. This is how content creators communicate with each other. We don't, email each other. Like, we have managers to do that stuff. We have lawyers to do that stuff. I have a team of people that will get in an email. I don't get in an email ever. I'm never in a Gmail ever. You know, this is, what are you talking about? It was so disrespectful to me when I'm just communicating you in Twitter DMs. We're talking back and forth and you're telling me I have to email you in order to get on a call. I was so confused by that, but I play along. All right. I think one of my people may have emailed you or something. I got a phone number. We set up a scheduled time when we're going to call and we're going to talk about this. And I call you during the scheduled time and you don't answer the phone. And then I get a message back saying, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I was streaming. I told you I work at this time. Well, even if that is true and you were streaming, that stream is not more important than my phone call and my opportunity. It's not.
Phil, what do you think about that? Do you think that's accurate? You have an opportunity to put 5 figures in your pocket and you kind of give us your mindset there, because I don't.
It's all semantics, because who cares how you're talking or whatever. First of all, Craig knows how to contact me. He contacted me to be on this show. It was pretty straightforward. Wouldn't you say, Craig? It was pretty easy to reach out to me. It wasn't hard to reach me, was it?
No, I emailed you. Yeah, it was easy.
And when we were able to talk back and forth pretty reasonably with no issue, correct? I don't think we ever had an issue, right?
No. I think what we're hearing here is...
hold on. You think Craig is a big YouTuber, though? Come on. Look at this guy.
Oh, no. I'm not even saying...
Hey, once upon a time, buddy. Once upon a time.
This has nothing to do with size. This has to do with just being reasonable. If someone has a business contact line, said, this is the best way to contact me, please do it. But instead you go to your giant audience on Twitter and you just scream, I want DSP to contact me immediately, $50,000 on the line. It's hostile, it's disrespectful, it's unprofessional.
So you got triggered and were on the defensive immediately when you saw that from
exactly.
Keem. You did not see that he was actually reaching out to help. You know,
no,
even
not
though
at all. I didn't even know. People had to tell me in my chat this was happening.
So according to like what I've just heard, you were talking shit about him retiring, and he jokingly responded and kind of slapped you a lighthearted slap with a glove, but said, you know what, I'm gonna hook you up anyway. That's the vibe I'm getting. And you were stuck on that. What year was this, by the way? Just because I kind of have a... So this was recent.
Yeah, roughly a year ago.
Wow. Okay. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a little further back. I mean, it feels like, Phil, you're in this time of like, you're trying to find that way past this spot that you're in. And I don't mean to like call anything out, but it does feel like that's being stuck on level 1, right? And it feels like, I mean, shout out to Keem for like actually reaching out after you were talking shit. Like, that's not something that happens. And if he was truly trying to help you out, like that's kind of surprising. I wouldn't, if someone was talking shit about me and I was as successful as Keem, I'd been like, fuck this person. I wouldn't even acknowledge them, especially as you say, it was just some small time. I don't remember what wording you chose, that you weren't even successful in your own mind.
But him talking shit to me isn't a personal thing, right? It's an opportunity for me to make a Twitter video and make some entertainment for my audience. Like when I go on the internet,
that's how you internet right there.
when I
That's
go
how
on the
you
internet, I'm not thinking about, will people like me? Will people hate me? I'm thinking, let me make a piece of content that people will enjoy watching, whether they like me or hate me or whatever. Let me make some piece of content that people are interested in. That's all I ever think about when I come to the internet, is serving viewers. All right.
Phil,
Well,
hold on, Phil, are you okay with this? You know, I don't
what?
want, yeah, just with this conversation, you know, I mean, you came on to do an interview with me and Craig.
Mhm.
You know, it was a tough interview. You know, we dove deep into throughout, you know, what was going on, and you weren't prepared for, or didn't know that Keemstar would be on the show today. I didn't know either.
Neither did I.
This is all just kind of happened naturally.
This is the
And
internet.
as the guest on my show, I just wanted to ask you if you're cool. Like, I would love for this to continue. I just want to make sure you're cool with it.
I'm okay with this, but I mean, obviously,
cool.
we want to get back to the other topics too, right? I mean, we kind of put everything on pause.
Yeah.
It came and
We
I
will,
mean-
sure, but I think something good is happening here, right? We're working
Agreed.
through things. We're understanding what each perspective is. I understand your perspective, Phil. I understand Keemstar's perspective. So I got a question for you, Keem. Is this, you don't mind if I call you Keem, do you?
No, that's fine.
Okay,
Everyone
cool.
calls me Keem.
All right. All right. Is the offer still there for this to happen?
I mean,
If Phil is open to it.
I would say potentially, but not really, right? You know, I took Wings of Redemption and Boogie 2988, who were willing to work with me and understood this business opportunity. And I'm setting up a boxing match between the two of them, and I'm going to break the internet with this. All right. This is a awesome opportunity for Wings, an awesome opportunity for Boogie. This is going to be broadcasted on May 13th, and I haven't even announced this anywhere yet. This is an exclusive. It's going to be free to watch.
Oh shit.
It's going to be free to watch. And
can I ask a question?
yeah,
Of course.
Since I am the guest, right?
Of course.
I can
Yeah, please ask. Yeah.
Keem, you know, again, I understand your reasoning here. You're saying I'm just making content people want to see, right? Is there any line that you won't cross when it comes to content that you think people want to see that you can make profit on? Do you have any kind of restraint? Do you ever feel that morally something is too far? Because I personally and many others hear this about this boxing match coming up. Okay, now let me give you my perspective. Okay.
okay.
Wings of Redemption, Boogie, two desperate guys. We all know they're down on their luck. They could definitely use some money, right? We all know this. They
Yes.
publicly project that to the internet. They're both, technically, from what we can see and understand, they're kind of unhealthy. Maybe not. Who knows? But you only know
Agree.
what they project, correct? Do you not feel that having two people like this, overweight, possibly unhealthy, doing a boxing match against each other so that everyone on the internet can laugh at them, could possibly, just possibly, be either putting them in harm's way or maybe be considered morally reprehensible because of the repercussions that could happen during this match?
Do you not think they're
But-
adults that they can make their own decisions, though, Phil?
That's
I'm
fine.
just
I mean,
curious.
anyone can make their own decisions. That's
I'm
fine.
sorry, Keem. Please answer though.
Let me respond. All right. Every single influencer boxer, whether they're healthy or not, is putting themselves in harm's way for entertainment. They're
True.
all warriors, and they all deserve respect. Wings of Redemption and Boogie haven't gotten any respect. In fact, it's disrespect. Very similar to you. All right. And by doing this, they will get respect. Whether people laugh or not, they are going to get respect for jumping in that ring. But you mentioned that they're unhealthy. Of course they're unhealthy. But I can tell you right now, behind the scenes, and nobody knows this, both of them have actively already lost weight training for this fight. This is a
Nice.
positive thing in both of their lives. And I don't think either one of them have the ability to seriously hurt the other. Do you? Do you think they're in real danger by fighting each other? I think these are equal opponents.
This is not a serious boxing match, Keem. They're not boxers. They don't know anything about boxing. These are two overweight guys that are going to go at it, swinging. You know.
Are you going to
anything can
watch?
happen. No.
Yes, you are.
No,
Yes,
I'm
you
not.
are.
I don't watch
believe
that
you.
crap. I don't watch
Wait,
your crap.
Phil,
Are you out of your
Phil,
mind?
you know
don't
who
believe
is you know who is gonna watch it, Phil?
Everyone else.
Everyone. Great
Really?
answer.
Right.
That's exactly what I would have said.
I just
Phil-
don't believe you. It really comes down to what I just
not
said a
gonna
little
watch
while
it, dude.
ago. When I look at like making content for the internet and doing stuff like this, my question is, will this serve viewers? And I know it will. I know so many people are going to tune in. I know so many people want to see this. And I don't believe you when you say you're not going to watch this. I think you are going to watch this fight.
You're so
Phil-
mistaken. You have known
Phil-
nothing about me then, dude.
Well, let's ask this, Phil. Just and this is just my morbid curiosity. If there was an opportunity for you, Phil, to do something physical, box, whatever, I don't know, whatever it may be, that was a kind of a YouTuber versus YouTuber opportunity. Would you be open to that? Open
No.
to anything like that?
Wouldn't do it.
No.
That's not what I'm about. I'm on the internet to share my passion for games, to have a cool social interaction with this, my viewers, my fans, whatever you want to call them. I'm not here to make a mockery of myself or, do a publicity stunt. I don't do that kind of stuff. People will say I do, whatever. It's your perspective. From my perspective, I just want to be in my lane with my viewers, doing a good, fun stuff. I have no aspirations of grandeur or anything like that. I don't want to blow up because I did a stupid internet boxing match with someone. It's so stupid to me. Immature.
That's fine,
honestly.
Phil. If I could finish why I'm frustrated and explaining myself.
Continue.
Because look, this all started with me retiring and you having, a bad opinion on me, and then us having that metaphor of, you being on level 1. Like I really did retire like a year ago. I pretty much did retire. Now I'm doing DLC, but I'm not paying for the DLC. The DLC is paying me, and I'm doing more and more and more and more stuff in this space because I just love it so much. And it comes from a place of you absolutely loving what you do and loving these video games. You know who else likes video games? Wings and Boogie. You don't think the three of you on a podcast would be a good thing? You guys talking about games, giving your opinions, talking about current events and whatnot. You don't think that's a positive thing?
Keem, I just said right here on the show, I would love to do a show with those
Okay.
guys. I'm friendly with them. Behind
So-
the scenes, I have conversations.
So when I couldn't get a hold of you and I called you multiple times, it wasn't once and you ignored, it was multiple times. I kept calling, I kept DMing you, and you said, "Oh, I'm streaming now," and da. Couple weeks went by.
By the way, that's
And-
false what he's saying, but I'll let him keep going. It's fine. Whatever. Believe it as fact,
No. We want to hear your perspective. That's what we're doing here.
Did he not call you multiple times?
He called me at least once, maybe twice, but I think it was just once. It could have been twice.
The amount of times that you've said during this interview that you don't really remember is shocking.
because I don't document this stuff. Why do I care?
But how can you say with such certainty that it wasn't you, or that he didn't call, or that all these things if constantly I'm just calling it out, or I'm not trying to come at you, but that I've just noticed that a lot. So now
That's
you
fine.
say actually he called maybe twice. Could it have been 3 times? Could it have
Again,
been 4 times?
It definitely
that you
wasn't
didn't even
3 or
notice.
4. It was 1 or 2. It
How do I
definitely wasn't
know?
3 or 4.
I'm just
Well,
I
regardless,
specifically remember when he called me during a stream, and I'm like, "Who's calling me?" And then when I went on a break, I opened my phone. I'm like, "This must be him," because I don't have his phone number. I'm assuming this must be him because of you get locations tied to phone numbers or whatever. And I'm like, "Why is he calling me when I gave him the specific times to call me? He's calling me when I said I was busy."
But
Why
even
would he
then,
do that?
Phil, you may be busy, but there's a call worth potentially 50 grand plus more on the backside of this that could take 10 minutes. I mean,
Change your life.
And once again, your true fans will understand. Look, I had to get on a phone call. This is a really important business call. I appreciate you guys. And you know what? They're going to stay there with you. They're going to stay there watching because they want to know what's happening. They want to know more about this. Like the idea of not taking a call just because you're streaming, like your fans will understand that, man.
No, and again, I didn't even know that was him. I didn't have his number. I'm checking after the fact during a break or whatever. But the fact that this guy can't call me when I'm giving him the times to call was baffling to me. So first, he won't. The true interaction here, I had to DM him. He wouldn't contact me. I had to DM him. He would not talk further in the DM about what this was until I demanded it. I'm like, dude, just tell me what you're talking about to see if I'm interested. I don't want to get on a call with you unless you just say, what if he had said something I'm totally not interested in at all? I could say, no, we're not even bothering with it. He wouldn't. I had to pull strings to get him to even say, okay, I want you to be like a host on a show. And then he wouldn't even talk any further. He demanded a phone call. I give him my number. I give him the specific times to call. He calls the wrong times.
Well,
right?
I
Guys,
mean,
guys,
according to
I
what I
just-
hear from Keem, hold on, I just want to say this real quick. According to what I'm hearing from Keem, he was going to put up $150,000 to do a show with 3 guys. Like that's a risk. That's him investing a lot of his income to try to help these guys, for including yourself. And I think a phone call, wanting to do it over a phone call, is like just that's nothing in comparison to what he's trying to do. All right, I just needed to say that, Keem.
And Phil, listen.
Do you
now
want to
that
know
we're-
why I don't like the phone call idea? Why I wanted it in writing? Would you like to know?
In just a
Why?
second, Keemstar, go ahead.
Phil, now that we're talking about this and we're communicating for the first time back and forth, all right, I can tell just by how you're reacting and what you're saying back to me that you actually understand that this was a great opportunity. And that's why we needed to be on the phone, is so we could actually communicate. We could hear each other's voice. We could talk this thing out. You can ask me questions. The text conversation, the emails back and forth, all right? That's not like really how business gets done. That's how contracts get done. That's how managers communicate back and forth and do deals. But like when we're at the very beginning of an idea and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with this business, it has to be like real communication back and forth in a phone call, like it is right now.
Mhm.
So that's
Okay.
why that's why it was so important for me to get on the phone with you.
Okay.
Do you
Well,
do you agree
Does that
or
make sense?
disagree? Does it make sense to you, Phil?
What I was going to say was
Sure.
the reason I wanted it in writing was very simple. All right. Again, you have to understand, Keem, you have a lot of stuff that's said about you on the internet. You know that. We've agreed to that.
But
Right?
so do you.
I'm so
Correct.
sick of hearing that from
But
you.
so do
Phil.
you. It's so frustrating
If
when
I'm
you
going to
say
deal
that.
with this guy, if I'm going
I'm
to deal
with
with
him.
this guy, if I'm going to deal with this guy, I want our conversation in writing. Because what's to stop me from getting on the phone with Keem, having a conversation, and the next thing I know, he completely lies about what we just talked about to get drama on his content.
Phil, that's
And-
like me going to Craig. Like, hell no. I hear all this shit about Phil. I don't want him to come up here and start fucking wanking it on the show live. You know what I mean? That's like me believing what is on the internet when I think this was actually it was a tough, but it was a good show, you know, and it was a chance for you to come clean and like really try to tackle some of the shit that's out there. But it's like you're using the same kind of shit that people have been using against you, but you're using it against Keemstar. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't listen. I don't
Yeah.
trust
You-
the
you
guy.
do
I just
hear it. You
don't.
do see
I don't
it, right?
trust him. I do
But-
not
but-
trust Keem.
But once
I
again,
You
I'm
don't
sorry.
know me. We've never
Right.
even talked.
How do you not trust the man when you're getting your information from the internet? The internet is not a real place.
like,
I can tell you this. I do business with the biggest content creators on this entire planet. All right. I don't just run a show called Drama Alert. I develop video games. I represent YouTubers. I get them brand deals. One of my companies represents the biggest streamer on the planet. I have a long business history with FaZe, Mr. Beast. Like, you don't know anything about me. You don't, right? But if we had a conversation and you got to learn about me and what I've done and the business opportunities that I've created for this industry for the last 15 years, your opinion of me would be wildly different than you watching a drama documentary about me, something that you're against. Like, this is blood money,
It was
but
not a
that's where
drama
you buy your
documentary.
information from.
It talked a lot positively about you. Why do you think I watched a drama video about you? That's not what I watched. at
So
all.
it talked positively about me, but by watching it, you had a negative view of me. That doesn't. It's
No,
not
I told
adding
you.
up.
I respect you immensely, but I don't know after all. It's not just that. There's other things too. Other people that have said things about you and their dealings with you. I have to kind of be protective of myself and my business and my family.
Was there
I
ever?
feel
Was there
there's
ever a
risk of being
story?
involved with you. I do. I feel there's a risk that I could be, hung out to dry somehow.
I know that there's multiple things that I've done wrong in my career, like a 1,000%. I have said outlandish things in the attempt of making entertainment and entertaining people. In 2015, one of the biggest things, my team got a story wrong, and I went on air with the story wrong and falsely accused someone of being a pedo. It was wrong identity. It wasn't even the same guy. All right. If you look at that story and actually look into it, the person that exposed Keemstar for that and brought that to the internet was Keemstar. I exposed myself for getting it wrong. I right away tried to make, it right with that guy, offer him 20 grand. This is like back in 2015. If you actually look into any of this stuff about me, you're going to see Keemstar saying wild effed up stuff, and he's definitely wrong. But you're going to see Keemstar making mistakes and trying to make amends for it if you actually take the time to look into it. Now, you're on this show asking these audience, this detractors, these gentlemen running this podcast to treat your story and what's said about you fair. I should have gotten the same respect from you, or at least a respect to get a phone call just so we could better know each other.
Phil,
But that didn't
Phil.
happen. And if I could finish, because I'm almost
Sure.
done
Yes, sir.
with representing, my point in all this. I called him multiple times. I couldn't get a hold of him. It rubbed me the wrong way right from the beginning when he was trying to send me to an email, which made no sense to me. And I think 2 weeks roughly went by, and I went on YouTube, and because I was looking up DSP stuff, doing research for the podcast, the algorithm sent his live stream in my feed. So I tune into it. And I'm telling you, the minute I tuned in, I saw Phil begging for money to pay rent and utilities. And I just lost it in his chat. I'm like, I cannot believe that you're doing this right now. 2 weeks ago, I was trying to get a hold of you, offering you the greatest opportunity you've ever been offered in your entire career. Phil, if this podcast was a success, all right, everyone in the chat and you are looking at $50,000. It wouldn't be $50,000. This podcast would make millions. It would be a wild success. It would be a brand. This is something that would be clipped on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram. People would talk about this just like you're being clipped on your little live stream now, except for we would have an opportunity to monetize it.
Phil, do you understand kind of the obviously I think what Keem is saying, he has this business experience, right? He's offering you an opportunity, you turn the other way, but there's a lot of things that you're saying today. You're talking about Keem making mistakes, saying things, doing business the wrong way. That can also be said about yourself. And the things that you're saying are very. It's like holding a mirror up to yourself, because I feel like there's actually a lot of similarities between Keemstar making mistakes. You've made mistakes, things that we touched on during this podcast, right? You do understand the similarities between what your argument is for not wanting to work with him and the reason why you have so many detractors.
Sure. What I would say is the difference between me and Keem, outside of wild amount of popularity difference, is that if you take a look at the body of work that I've done in the 15 years I've done it, all right, you would say, has Phil ever really outright with anything he's done actually concretely hurt someone to the point where wow, what a heinous person? People will say that about Keem. They will say that about Keem, okay? And at the end of the day, when I have to make business decisions about who I'm going to associate with and who I'm not going to, that's a factor. And it's a moral factor for me. It has nothing to do with Keem's business sense. Keem, you are a great businessman. Everyone knows that. I think you would actually run the podcast very, very well. I do. I would love to do this podcast with Boogie and Wings. I have a problem with you morally, dude, with the content you put out. I do. And
I'm gonna let him respond. Let him respond to that.
Listen, you just said that you've never hurt anyone, right? And you talking trash doesn't hurt me. That's just an opportunity, right? But when you treated me the way you did behind the scenes, this sounds like bullshit coming from me, but you hurt me. I was offended. I was hurt. Why are you treating me like this? Why can't you treat me like a man, and why can't we have a conversation? If you came to the conclusion that, no, I don't want to do this, this isn't right for me, that's fine. But you really showed me no respect at all. It was so disrespectful how you were treating me, making me email. I have to call at a certain time. I'm calling and you're not answering the phone. And then when people were asking, your fans asking online, why didn't you do this podcast with Keem? During this whole time, I forgot to mention this, he was still talking bad about me publicly.
Keem, you just said it. Just what you just described is probably the main reason I have a problem with you. You are someone who has no self-awareness, and you think that you're the most important thing. You tweeted on your Twitter that I should contact you about a business opportunity. No one does that. They contact a person about the business opportunity directly.
We all do it. We all do
Everyone.
it.
Yeah,
It's the internet, Phil.
Phil, it's
Like,
the internet, man.
well,
Yeah.
you said you've been doing this for 15 years, but like, do you not understand the way algorithms work, the way anger is addictive, and how people are hooked on crazy shit? Go ahead.
I want no part of that drama. I don't
Phil,
want to be
Phil,
on a
Phil, from-
podcast that is going to be about that. I don't want to be involved with someone
That's not what he was.
he's-
I don't even
this
know
is
what the podcast
egomaniacal
was
what
going to
he's
be about.
saying. He's being egomaniacal. I have to just listen
Phil,
to what he just
I'm
said.
not.
Keem,
Phil.
you just said my whole life should have stopped because you wanted to contact me. Really?
I did
my
not say
whole
that.
Life. You
No,
just
he
said,
didn't say that.
Answer
I
the
did
call
not
at
say
any time, even though I
Phil,
gave you the times to call me.
Can
Answer
I
the
give
call
you
at
some
any time at
context?
all.
Can I give you some context? From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, every single day, I talk to at least 20 different content creators. And this is true. This is not an exaggeration. You know, I run an influencer boxing, Happy Punch. We represent fighters that do boxing. I have all my staff. I have YouTubers and content creators that we represent business-wise with brand deals and stuff like that. And then I run Drama Alert, right? So I have to get on the phone with different content creators to validate stories or get people's takes so I can, inject that into the story to make sure that like what I'm reporting and what I'm talking about is accurate and have a full perspective, right? How all this business operates, right, between content creator and content creator is like Twitter DMs. It's like a tweet, DM me. Let's hop on a phone call. When we're talking about contracts and stuff, then you have lawyers, you have managers, they're in emails, emailing each other back and forth. But the content creators, which we are both content creators, we are on the same level. I'm not higher than you. You're not higher than me. We have a mutual respect as content creators. We should be able to be in Twitter DMs and then get on a phone call. And you didn't treat me like that. You treated me like dirt. This is not about me thinking I'm God. This is about how you treated me in those Twitter DMs.
Keem, I gave you the times to call. You called at different times, and we never had another interaction ever again. How was I disrespectful to you?
So when they asked me, is this opportunity, still available? When I say maybe, because like, I don't know how I could work with you. You are very, very difficult to work with, to even communicate with, firsthand.
Because I didn't drop everything to talk to you, I'm difficult to communicate with, even though I have
what are you dropping?
publicly listed ways to contact me.
Please explain to me what you're dropping. Like, what is so important that's happening that you can't get on a phone call with me?
My work, my job. I'm here 6 days a week, full-time streaming to make a living.
But this job that I'm about to offer you would pay wildly more and solve all these problems that you have going on.
First of all, you don't know what it's going to solve. That's a huge assumption. Second of all, I didn't know what the thing was because you never told me. You didn't call at the time you were supposed to.
Didn't
We're going
Boogie
in
give
a
you?
loop.
We are
give
going
you-
in a loop. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's happened a lot on this episode so far.
Right. So look, I think let's leave it here, right? A bridge has been gapped. We brought a bridge together, right? I don't know if something's going to come from this with Keem and Phil, and there's obviously still friction there, and that's fine. But I'm glad you guys had an opportunity to talk, and I think more than anything, Phil, you're learning more about business in 2022, 2023, and how interactions, and the importance of being quick and nimble and things like that along here, because that's in reality that's how business works now. So
Let me put it this way: if it weren't Keem, because again, I already had a negative association in my head of who Keem is. I had really very little interest in doing any work with him. If it was someone else, maybe I would have. But that's the association I had. I had a moral issue working with the guy, so it wasn't a big deal to me that he was reaching out to me.
Before I leave, because I'm pretty much done, I've expressed everything that I want.
I appreciate it, Keem.
Can I give you some criticism?
Me?
Phil, is that okay?
Yeah, because I came in saying that I'd be respectful and I wouldn't dunk on you or any of that stuff, but I do have some criticism that I desperately want to express to you.
It's
as
up to
long
Phil.
as long as it's respectful and it's not,
Okay. I'm going to do this in the most respectful way, and then I'll go. And of course, you can respond. But I don't condone people harassing you, people doxing you, people going into your private, you know, life and doing all this horrible stuff that they've done. But I believe the reason why this has happened is because people don't trust you. You don't come across as trustworthy. So when you're on stream and you're asking to pay utilities and rent and all that stuff, the audience is getting frustrated and they look at you like you're a scammer and they want to know where this money is going. Well, how is he always in this situation? What is he spending his money on? And that is the motivation to dive into your personal life. You had an opportunity on this show, and I watched it, to just pull up the screenshot and show the WWE account, and you didn't do it. Your internet cut off. At that point, when your internet cut off and you were DDoSed and you were gone off stream, the opportunity is now gone. It's gone because while your internet was out, you could have made a fake screenshot. All right. You're never, ever going to be able to prove what your WWE account was or is ever again, because people will say he just photoshopped it. He just made it up. You're never going to be able to prove
say
that
anyway.
You had one opportunity to do it right away with these guys, and that was it. And you didn't take advantage of it, because I personally, watching it, and so did the audience, thought that you were lying. And if you are lying, if it is true and you're not being honest, if I were you, this is the best advice I could give you, right? Is just be like, look, this was my account. This is that. I would ask for a clean slate and I would do things different, because this restarting level 1 over and over and over again is the root of all your problems, if that makes any sense.
I appreciate the input. It's not true, so I'm not going to do that. But I appreciate the input. If it were true, I would fess up to it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Keemstar, thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
I'll appreciate you hopping on. Really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Go. I got the drip. 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 Go. I got the drip.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.